While we were at Disney Springs, which is the outside shopping area for Disney, you can walk down through there. It doesn't cost anything to get into it. They have tons of places to eat and places to shop and lots of things to see. And they have a bowling alley and they have just like a movie theater. They have all kinds of stuff there. You do have to pay for the merchandise. You do have to pay for the food. You do have to pay to bowl and things like that. But going to Disney Springs and parking at Disney Springs is free. So it's always something fun to do, to get out, to see the new things, to go and walk and to just, get a good feel of it. It's open until like midnight, so you can go after you get done at the parks, or, when it's just cooled off in the evenings. I do think that Starbucks opened at 7, and I think the other stores opened at like 8, maybe, somewhere around there. So we did get there a little bit early, and we did go to the outside Starbucks and got something to drink. And then we went and got in line for Gideon's. So, and I did show the Gideon's cookies. But this was, they gave us a card when we got to Gideon's while we were waiting outside in line. And so it showed like what they had. So this is the card for June, where they're celebrating Pride Month. And so this is the card, and I did keep it so that I would have it. And it's a great little souvenir. It's thick, so it's a good little souvenir to keep. And then it tells you like everything they have for the month of June. This is at the Disney Springs store. They do have 2 different locations, so all of this may not have been available at the other shop, and other things may have been available at the other shop that aren't on this. So just know this is the Gideon's Bakehouse for Disney Springs. I'm trying to get it to focus in here, and I'm not really sure how well it's doing, but anyway. So this was from Gideon's, and we did do the box of 4 cookies as well. Also, while we were in Disney Springs, we went into Uniqlo, and I was looking at their shirts and stuff. And so I ended up buying the dinosaur shirt, which I thought was great because they just opened Velocicoaster at Universal Studios. So I did end up getting this shirt, which I did like. It is pretty thick though, so it's not a thin shirt, but it is a nice fabric. It's kind of a soft but thick fabric. It says, "Do you remember the first time you saw a dinosaur?" And then it has the Jurassic Park stuff on the bottom of it and the T-Rex. So this shirt, it actually has the Jurassic World tag on it. And this shirt was actually $19.90 to start with, which is the normal price for all of their t-shirts. And then it was on sale for $5.90. So I got it for less than $6. So like I said, I'm a pretty good bargain shopper. And I do like this. It's got a lot of gold coloring in it. It's not like a shiny glittery gold. It's just like a gold and tan. So I will definitely be wearing this a lot with like my tan cardigan or something like that. So just know I'll wear it during the winter with that cardigan. So while we were at Disney Springs, they have so much there, and they have stuff there that's different like every time. And so they also have little vendors that are there that are just kind of over, like as you cross over the bridge and just kind of out and about. You'll see like little pop-up shop type things, or little vendors, I don't know really what to call them. They're just little small areas that they sell things from. It's not an actual indoor shop. And so one of the things I had been wanting for a long time was to get some plumeria. And the plumeria is a bush. It actually grows into like a tree. And it has these beautiful flowers on them that they used to make leis with. So and it's not the only one that they use to make leis with. They make leis out of all different kinds of flowers, but it's one of the most common ones that they use all over the place for the real flowered leis. And so I had been wanting plumerias for a long time, and I just never really came across them here. They just don't have them. And so it is a tropical plant, and I don't live in a tropical area. And so I really wanted them, but I didn't know that I could grow them. Since they don't sell them here, I really didn't think I would ever be able to grow them. Well, we came across one of those little vendors selling plumeria cuttings. And so I thought, there's no sense in me getting it. It's not going to grow. It's going to die. You know, I'm just going to be wasting $15 because it's $15 per clipping. Well, they were actually doing them. They were 15 each or 3 for 40. And they had several different ones to choose from. Well, plumeria, every color has a different fragrance. And so we found one that it's like a orangish pink color with yellow in the center, which is supposed to either be coconut or pina colada. I'm not really sure. I think it was coconut, but it could have been pina colada. One of those two. Anyway, so I really wanted them. My daughter was like, you have to get them. You've been wanting them. You know, just get it and try it and let's see. So when I was getting ready to buy them, the guy said it came with an instruction sheet. It tells you everything about it. It tells you how to get a hold of them if you have any questions or any problems. So I did end up buying 3. Now, the instruction sheet, and it's kind of bent up now because we did have to travel back with it. It does tell you, like, their Facebook page and all their information. It tells you everything about it on this sheet. So it does say that you pot them into like sand or like a cactus potting mix, and that they will do best there. And you don't water them. Like you don't water them to start with. You put them in there and you let them, you know, start their thing. It tells you like what size pot to use and, you know, how deep to plant it and everything else. It also tells you that if it gets down to 50 to 60 degrees, that it's going to go dormant, and that it can't go dormant in the first year of its life. So see, I would have messed up already first thing. I would have stuck it in a pot. I would have given it some dirt, some water, and I would have put it outside, and as soon as it got cold, it would have died and never come back. So you don't do that with these. So what we're going to do is we're going to pot these and keep them inside. I actually ordered a grow light, which just to put over the top of them. I've ordered the cactus potting mix and the grow light from Amazon. I know I get almost everything off of Amazon. And then it says, like on the pot itself, it needs to be, I think it's 6 to 8 inches on here somewhere. I'll have to look to see. But yes, it says start with a small 8 by 6 inch pot, and so with good drainage. So I have to go get the pots for them. All the potting mix and the light are supposed to be here in a couple of days. And so once it gets here, I will go ahead and pot it and set it up, and I'm going to put the light up, and I'm going to keep them inside for the first year, and then we'll see how it goes. So hoping it does well. Hoping they grow, hoping that we see something good come from them. But anyway, like I said, I've been wanting them for a long time, and I never did get them because they just don't sell them around here. And so I did end up getting them now. These, I did actually put these in my bag to bring back with me. I just put them in my check-in bag and put them in the zipper part of it inside and zipped it up. They can, of course, check your luggage and everything while you are there, or going through the airport and everything, and they never said anything about it, so I guess it's okay. So that's what we got. But when we got these, the cuttings were very fresh, and they actually had green leaves on them. So this green leaf has died since then, but it's cut, and so that's just the way it is. And then this was green also, and it has died, but they're pretty big cuttings. Like this should grow back here, and then this should grow back, and this should also have some parts that grow out from it as well. This one is just the flat end, and then it's got at least 2 areas that should grow back there, and it actually looks like it could grow 3. It's still pretty green on top. You can kind of see it there. To me, in person, it doesn't look very green, but on the camera, I can see that it's still got all these little green areas. So by the time the potting mix and stuff gets here, it should still be green. It's been several days since we bought these. And then this one actually has a fork there too, and then that piece as well. So this shows you the colors that they're supposed to be, orange and yellow, it says. But that orange to me really did look like it was kind of a dark pinkish orange. It wasn't like a vibrant, fire orange or anything. But anyway, so I just wanted to kind of show you like some of the merch that we got while we were there, and just kind of give you a feel for like what we paid for it and what we got. When we were at Aquatica does not have very much merch at all. And I said that in the video. When we went in the store, they just did not have much there. They had like $23 beach towels that just weren't that great from what we saw. They did have a few shirts, but they weren't really like Aquatica shirts. Like they had other kinds of shirts, like Hawaiian looking shirts or beachy type shirts, maybe like Salt Life shirts and things like that. But they weren't really like the Aquatica shirts. They had one magnet that was a flip-flop. That was it. There were no pins. There were no patches. There was none of that stuff. So they really didn't have much. I did find the Aquatica cup at SeaWorld. And then at Discovery Cove, we got a few, the few things. And then at SeaWorld is where we got the, quite a few things off the sale area. At the outlet mall, we got quite a few things. When we went to Universal Studios City Walk, we didn't actually go into the parks, we just went to City Walk, and we did get a few things there. We mainly just stopped for just get drinks because it was so hot, and we got frozen yogurt because it was so hot, and I don't think we actually even bought any merch there. It wasn't our first time to go to City Walk, and we have quite a bit of Universal Studios merch from the past several times that we've been. But oddly, I don't think we brought anything back from there. That's wild, because I was really thinking that I wanted to go to Toothsome and get the shirt. I wanted to go back there and get the shirt, but we didn't go back to Universal. We didn't go back to City Walk. When we went to Toothsome, they did not have a place for us to sit and eat. They were booked up. We were there on the 1st, and they were booked up through the 8th of July. Jam-packed. You couldn't get a seat in there if you wanted to. And Toothsome is awesome. It's an awesome experience. It's definitely steampunk feel. So if you like that kind of stuff, you're going to love it. Steampunk is like all the gears and things like that. It looks like the inside of a clock, the inside of just a clock with the moving pieces and things like that. So if you love that kind of stuff, you will love Toothsome. It's awesome. But we didn't go back because we knew we couldn't get in, and we knew a lot of the restaurants and stuff there were already booked solid. So we did not attempt to even go back to City Walk before we left, which is sad because I really did want that Toothsome shirt, but maybe I'll get it next time. Anyway, and so I think that's about it. I think that's pretty much about everything we did while we were there. So the Starbucks cup, I got it from Disney Springs while we were there. When we stopped to get our Starbucks drink first thing that morning, I went ahead and got that cup to make sure I could get one, and then I did see several of those throughout the time. They also have an Orlando one. I didn't get it. I'm having such a hard time doing the states. I figured I didn't really need to stop and also do the big cities as well. I need to, actually get started on them good before I decide to do something like that. But anyway, yeah, so that's most of the merch that we got. We did get a few other things. Like I said, I think, this kind of gives you an idea on what we got and a feel of what we paid for it. When we booked this trip, I had talked about previously that I would talk about the booking experience of it. So when we booked the trip, what I normally do when I book a trip like this is I go to Google, put in flights, and bring it up to see what I can get from my departing area to where I'm wanting to arrive. And then from there, I try to see, it'll give you like the prices of what it's going to cost you to get there. And so I did find that if you travel on like Tuesday or Wednesday, that the prices are a lot cheaper on flights than say if you travel Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. So we did try to book it according to that. Now we did go during the 4th of July time of the year, and so that wasn't a great time for us to go, but we were real limited on the time that we could go. And because of that, we had to choose something in that time frame. So it is what it is, and that's what we did. So when I was booking the flight, I actually looked to see what the lower prices were for that. So when we booked it, we just kind of tried to do it according to where the cheaper flights were. So if you're getting ready to book a trip like that, first I recommend you going to Google and checking the flight. It will give you the flight from where you're leaving and where you're going to, and it'll give you several different companies to choose from. And so it lists everything, like all the big name airlines, as well as some of the smaller ones too. So you definitely want to look at that part. And then after you look to see what the prices are and it fits with the time you're going to be gone, then you want to look at getting your reservations. And so when you look at the flight, you want to immediately call wherever you're planning on staying. What we did was we knew we wanted to go to SeaWorld, Aquatica, and Discovery Cove. So we looked at the SeaWorld website and we chose their hotel, which was the Hilton in Orlando. Now they do have other sister hotels as well, Renaissance and several other brands. And so you go on there and you see who has an availability for the price that you're willing to pay and for the length of time that you're going to stay. Then you also have to check with SeaWorld, Aquatica, and Discovery Cove if that's what you're going to do, to make sure they have openings for those days. So in the past, that really hasn't been an issue because you've mostly been able to get in. They hardly ever get to full capacity for a day. But with the COVID restrictions and them doing reservations, you have to reserve your days. And so you have to make sure that they have days open before you book anything. And so that's what I did. We sat down, we had a laptop and 2 phones that we were working off of. And we sat on the couch and started bringing everything up. And so I brought up flights. I looked for the days that we could go and the ones that had the lower prices. And then we went immediately to the SeaWorld website and looked at the Hilton to find rooms. We were able to find rooms for the cheaper days for the flight. Then we went in to book each one of our days while we were there. So we knew that we needed to do Discovery Cove on one certain day because that was the only day that we also looked at the weather, because that was like the one day that it wasn't supposed to be like horrible weather going on. Do know that the weather changes and that it always rains. And so we did have rain, but we didn't have the inclement weather policy take place while we were at Discovery Cove. And that was our biggest thing, that we wanted to make sure that we got the full experience, that we got to swim with the dolphins and that we got to swim with the stingrays and that we got to see the sharks and everything. That was our biggest thing that we wanted to do the whole trip that we were there. So when we booked, we had to make sure that that was booked on a certain day for that. And then we did Aquatica and SeaWorld according to the weather. So we booked it around Discovery Cove and booked it for what was best with the weather that they had coming in at the time. So if you're getting ready to book something like this, that is my recommendation on booking. You have to basically do everything at the same time to make sure you can get tickets, get flights, and get a room, because it has to go hand in hand. You can't just book one then go back and book the other. it doesn't always work out that way. So we just did it all at the same time. Like I said, we had 3 different devices that we were working off of, and we were booking everything all at the same time, and it worked for us. That is normally how I book. Now, this next trip that we have coming up in a couple of weeks, we did know that we had to be there for a certain time, and so I had to go ahead and book the hotel for that time frame because we are there for an actual reason. We're not there for vacation. So we knew that we had to be there for certain days. And so I went ahead and booked the room for that because I knew I had to have it for those days. I did not actually book the flight until a little over a week ago. And we've known we were going to go for a long time, but the thing is, flights don't book out that far in advance, or they used to not, with every company. They sometimes will only book them out 2 or 3 months in advance, and so they don't actually book them real far in advance. If they would have, I would have booked it back in December when the prices were a lot cheaper, but they didn't. The prices started rising on us, and they just kept getting higher and higher. So I actually paid double for the flight than what I wanted to pay, but it came to a point that it was, I'm going to have to book this flight or I'm not going to get one, and that is way too far for one person to drive. So it is what it is. I had to pay a lot more money. I'm not happy with it. I highly do not recommend doing that. I recommend, waiting it out and seeing if it will get, lower, but I knew I didn't have the time to wait. And I wanted that flight to be booked before we left. So what I did was I went on to Google Flights and I looked, and I had been watching it for about 2 or 3 months. The flight pretty much stayed about the same price. It would go down just for a little bit and then shoot right back up. And a lot of times when it would go down, there would not be enough seats available for what we needed. And so I ended up just having to book it because I looked at the week before and the week after, and it was staying the same, and then it just started skyrocketing from there. So I ended up paying over $500 a person for this flight. I don't feel like it is worth over $500 a person for this flight. I feel like that is double what it should be. But I also didn't have an option, and looking at the week before and the week after, it was over $600 a flight. So just so you know, I do kind of compare, what's going on the week before and what's going on the week after. And when I started seeing that the prices were over $600, I knew it wouldn't be long before the week we were going got up to over 600 as well. So I do kind of watch everything surrounding it, not just the days that I know I have to be gone. And so anyway, that's just a little bit of information that I have on booking. The other thing is definitely look for those discount cards. So like I said, I wish I had used the one that we were given. Next time that we do something like that, I will make sure I have the discount cards and not somebody else getting them, because we could have saved quite a bit of money doing that. Also, if you use Uber and Uber Eats, we did a lot of Uber and Uber Eats while we were gone, just because when we didn't have a vehicle and it didn't pay for us to be able to rent a vehicle while we were there. You do have to pay for parking most every night at the hotels there, so just note that and figure out what it's going to cost you, and then try to decide if it's actually worth it to rent a car. And it was not worth it for us to rent a car because we would Uber most places, and if you stay at those hotels and you're going just to like SeaWorld, Discovery Cove, Aquatica, they have a bus that goes and you don't have to pay anything. So you can definitely take their bus and go there and go back and not have to pay. And they're so close to those hotels, you can walk. We actually did walk to SeaWorld and back, and then, so it is walkable. It is a doable type thing. So, but We did use Uber and Uber Eats quite a bit. We used Uber to go to the outlet malls and to the Universal Studios City Walk, and we also did use Uber Eats for almost every night. So we would leave the parks, go back to the room, get our showers, relax, and then figure out what we wanted to eat. And then Uber Eats would deliver our food for dinner. So we did use Uber Eats almost every day. And they do points. So if you use Uber and Uber Eats, they do accumulate points for you, and they will give you discounts and then some free stuff. So if you do that, they offer other things that'll come in by email or through the Uber Eats app. And so like one day we had $10 off of a $20 order. One day we had $15 off of a $25 order. And that didn't include the points. That was just like discounts that they were running. And then sometimes they'll do like just no service charge and free delivery and things like that. So I highly recommend, if you're going to stay somewhere like that, that you use like Uber Eats, and I'm sure some of the others offer that also, like maybe Grubhub, DoorDash, things like that. So if you're going to be there and you're going to do things like that, I highly recommend that you look into those kind of things, because it does come in handy, and it's really, it works well. So anyway, all right, I've been on here a long time. I actually planned on this just being like a 5 or 10 minute little video, and it was a lot longer than that. So this one will probably be split up into like 2 videos. So anyway, with that being said, I hope you have a wonderful day.